Math problems become more manageable once you've mastered the Kaplan method for math. Hi, my name is Alyssa, and this video is designed to teach you how to use the Kaplan method for math for any kind of math problem. After watching this video, you will be comfortable using the Kaplan method of math for all heart of algebra questions. The Kaplan method for math has 3 steps. The first step in this method is to read the question, but make sure that you are answering the following questions as you read through the problem. This will help you organize the important information that's given. The first question to ask yourself while reading is, what information am I given? Here, you want to make note of all the information given in the passage and group similar items for comparison. The second question to ask is, which parts of the question are relevant? You should be able to pick out what information is unnecessary based on what the question is asking, especially for those word problems that give tons of information in one paragraph. Think ahead to what equation you might need to use to solve the problem and see if all of the information given is really necessary. Then ask yourself, what do the answer choices look like? Look to the answers and take note of the units and the form of the numbers to help you choose the best strategy to answer the question and ensure that your calculations are correct. Look for conversions of centimeters to meters and determine whether fractions or decimal answers are provided. The last question to ask is, should I label or draw a diagram? Sometimes this won't be necessary, but this step will be invaluable for geometry questions. If the question describes a figure, draw it. It will help you visualize the question. If the question gives a figure, label it with any information given in the passage. Then you'll be able to see what information is missing and what you may need to solve for. And that's it for step 1 of our Kaplan method for math, reading the question and gathering the relevant information in order to choose the best strategy to use. And that's our next step. Step 2, choose the best strategy to solve the problem. There are a few different strategies that we can use to solve math problems, and with practice, they will become routine and familiar. Remember, you want to solve problems efficiently and avoid using long, drawn-out strategies. Sometimes, all a question requires to be solved is some straightforward algebra. For these, practice makes perfect in working efficiently through the problems. If a math problem gives variables to describe a relationship between two numbers, it might be helpful to pick actual numbers in place of those variables. Being able to see the difference in numerals can save time solving the problem and help you understand the answer choices. Another strategy is to use the answer choices themselves within the equation and see if they fit. Once you've created an equation from the information in the passage, why not use the answer choices and solve the equation for one of the known values? This way, you can eliminate incorrect answers and be confident in your calculations. With practice, you will be able to quickly and confidently choose the best strategy and then use it to solve a given math question. And now we're on to the final step in the Kaplan method for math. Step 3, check your answer. There are a number of important aspects to consider in this step to make sure that you have answered the question correctly. First, review what the question is actually asking you for. Refer back to your jot notes from step 1. Check that you are in fact solving for x, and not for some variation of x, or another variable that you first needed to find x in order to solve for. This is important. There could be trick answer choices that match up with your calculation for x, but the question stem really wants to know x plus 1. You also want to check the units of your answer, and make sure that they match up with the answer choices. If the question stem gives you information in terms of centimeters, and you solve using centimeters, make sure that the answer choices are also in centimeters, and if they are not, make sure to convert them to the proper units. Again, watch out for those trick answer choices. The last thing to do is double check your work. Go back and quickly skim over how you set up your equation and if the answers look correct. This is especially important for questions that have a lot of equations to set up and a lot of variables to solve for. These questions provide lots of opportunities for errors, so taking the time to double check your work quickly will give you confidence in your answer. You wouldn't want to do all that work to solve for an answer and then choose the wrong value due to a calculation error. Remember, it's only your answer choice that matters, not the process, so make sure that you use all steps of the Kaplan method to efficiently solve math problems and answer questions with confidence. Let's go through an example together and use the Kaplan method for math to solve this math problem. Remember step 1? Read the problem. This question is asking you to calculate how much Joy owes for signing up and attending lessons at a gym. Remember to pick out the important information after reading the passage. So here we need to know how much Joy paid as a sign-up fee, how much each lesson costs, how many lessons she plans to attend, and finally, that added information that she used a 20% off coupon. It doesn't seem like there is any information that is irrelevant here. Make note that all of the answer choices are given in dollar amounts, and so is the information given in the passage. This question does not provide or describe a figure, so there is no need to draw or label one. That completes step 1. Step 2 is to choose the best strategy to solve this problem. From the question, we can see that we need to take the values that we know, translate them into an equation, and solve that equation to determine how much Joy owes. So let's set up and solve the equation. From the information in the passage, we come up with the following equation to solve. Here, we have chosen the variable p to represent Joy's payment. Then, we know she pays $15 to start and $50 per lesson for 6 lessons. Then we multiply everything by 4/5. Since she is paying with a 20% off coupon, we know that she has to be paying 80% of the original fee. The easiest way to represent this in an equation is by using the fraction 4/5. Now we can begin to solve the equation, starting by simplifying 50 times 6 to 300. Then we add 15 to 300 and take into account the fraction. We solve this equation to give us the number 252. Now we complete the final step of the Kaplan method and check our answer. We calculated that Joy owes $252. That matches answer choice B. We've checked our units, dollars in both question and answer. We've checked that the question is asking how much Joy owes, and that's what we've solved for, and we've double-checked our calculations. Now we have successfully completed a math problem using Kaplan's method for math. Practice using the Kaplan method for every kind of math question that you come across. Remember, practice makes perfect, and your confidence will increase as you work through these problems. Remember the 3 steps in this method, and you will be comfortable answering all kinds of math questions. Step 1 is to read the question, taking note of important or irrelevant information and creating figures if necessary. Step 2 is to choose the best strategy to solve the question and use it to find an answer. Some strategies are straightforward, while others require a bit more thinking. The last step is to check your answers. Make sure that you haven't wasted your time by checking to see what the question has asked, the units of your answer, and that your calculations throughout have been correct. Thank you for watching this video, and good luck using the Kaplan method for math.